Many employers don't know how to request new allocation on priority basis. So this is the guidance provided by the gov.uk, and it says that if you pay £200, you can get this priority allocation of your COS. Now, how to get this service? First, you go on gov.uk, the only genuine website. Then in the search section, just write priority change of circumstances service. Click search. This will take you to this page, and this second one is the form which you have to fill. If I click this one, this will lead to this form. I click this one and this will give me the form which you need to fill to get this priority service. Now let's discuss what you can get in this service. So as per guidance published on 18th March 2025, the priority change of circumstances service allows sponsors to prioritize certain requests each day by submitting an application via email. These requests are additional COS allocation, annual COS allocation, add a new level 1 user, change a level 1 user, replace the AO, amend the AO, replace the key contact, amend the key contact, add a representative, amend your organization details, moved to new premises. Further, it says, please note, this service does not guarantee your request will be approved. Post license request for GPM, UK expansion worker route, GBM service supplier route, and GBM secondment worker route will not be accepted on priority services. Now let's discuss the eligibility requirement. You must be an A-rated worker or temporary worker, full active sponsor license. You must have submitted a request via the sponsorship management system prior to emailing the worker and temporary worker priority service mailbox. The request must not be in progress or allocated to a caseworker. You must have printed the submission sheet if your request is to replace the AO or appoint the representative. You cannot be a premium sponsor or requesting priority for student case. If you are a premium sponsor, please contact your accounts manager. If the request is for additional COS, they must be undefined COS only. Please note, any defined COS request will be rejected and a refund will not be issued. This is important to understand what is defined and undefined. Defined is when you are bringing employees from outside the UK. Undefined is when you have someone already in the UK, for example on graduate visa or skilled worker visa, and you want them to switch. You must submit a fully completed application to the priority service team. Now let's see how to apply. Full guidance on how to submit change of circumstances request on the sponsorship management system can be found within the manual. Further, it says once you have submitted your sponsorship management system change, you can now email priority post license priority service at homeoffice.gov.uk with a completed worker and temporary worker request form as an attachment. Later on in this video, I will show you this request form as well. Please ensure to include your organization name as detailed on your license, sponsor license number, and priority request type in the subject of the email. For example, you need to mention like this: priority service request, organization name, sponsor license number, request type. Now, when we say what is the request type, it's basically this which we just request. It says over here, these requests are, for example, additional COS allocation. So in your request type, you will mention additional COS allocation, which is the most common question because many employers wanted to get the COS allocation and they are waiting for weeks. Within the UK, some of them are waiting for 2 weeks. So this is how you will mention. Further, it says you can apply for multiple priority requests. However, they must be on the same license. Multiple request forms for different sponsor on the same email will not be considered. The priority service is open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Any request made outside of this time will not be considered. A maximum of 100 priority service requests will be accepted each day. Any amendments to the limit will be communicated through the SMS message board. If your request has been successful, you will receive an email from the priority service team to advise that your request has been accepted, along with the further instructions. A second email containing World Pay link. Check your spam or junk folder, it does not arrive. This is 100% true that it will never come into your inbox. You need to check your junk folder because this email will be containing a link for the World Pay. Further, it says you have 72 hours from when you receive the second email to make a payment. This includes weekends. If we do not receive your payment within that time, your priority request will expire and you need to apply again to be considered. But sometimes there are several reasons that your request may not be successful. Number one, your request is ineligible for the service. For example, you already have a premium sponsor license service. Number two, they have reached their daily allocation limit. Every day they have 100, so they have reached that limit and there will be no more allocation limit. Number three, you have submitted a priority request outside the service operating times. If you do not receive a response, please assume that your request has not been successful. If your request is to replace the AO or to appoint a representative, you will need to send the submission sheet to them. Attached the electronically signed submission sheet along with all the relevant documentation to your priority request. If you are not sure what documents you need to provide, you can check the workers and temporary workers priority request for the guidance. Now let's try to understand the processing time, that how long it will take. Eligible requests that have successfully made payment will be considered within 5 working days. So you have 72 hours from the time your payment link was generated that you pay. Once you do that, you have 5 working days. The 5 working days consideration period begins the following working day from when payment is made. For example, if you were to make a payment on Monday, the working day timescale will begin on Tuesday. If you are required to send a submission sheet, the 5 working days begin from the date the UKVI receive your submission sheet, if it has not already been received. You may not receive an outcome within 5 working days if your request is complex or extra checks are required. We will write to the AO via email in this instance. We may request further information within 5 working time scale. If we do not receive this information in due course, we may reject the request and no refund will be issued. For this reason, please ensure the AO check their email, including junk email, regularly. If your consideration is delayed for other reason outside of normal case working process, for example, technical error, you will be eligible for refund of that £200. The outcome will be sent via email to the key personnel listed on the license. This service does not guarantee your request will be approved. Now let's check the fees. The fees is charged for this service is £200 per request. And if you want to contact them, sponsor maintenance queries will not be replied to and should be directed to scoc@homeoffice.gov.uk. General queries regarding the post license service should be directed to post license priority service at homeoffice.gov.uk. You can also phone them at 0300 123 4699. Now let's check the priority request form. The priority request form looks like this. This form is to be used by A-rated non-premium sponsor on the workers and temporary worker routes to request prioritization of the eligible case type, which we just discussed. Complete this form electronically and email along with any required supporting documents to this email address. Eligible request will be considered in 5 working days. Supporting documents you need to provide if they are in PDF, PEG or Word format. have descriptive title with 25 or fewer characters, are of high enough quality to be read. Further, it says priority request will require supporting documents as detailed on page 2 must include. We will discuss this later on. If you have sent physical documents by post and submitted your request through sponsorship management system, your case will be considered within 5 working days. Now let's see the documents type. So on this side we have eligible request, request type. If you see this column, the first one says in-year CoS allocation. Follow on CoS allocation, annual allocation. So this is the most common one where you usually request. So do you need to provide the submission sheet? No, because this is the column for the submission sheet, this is the column for EU, and this is for lease rental. So in this case, you do not need to provide any documents. Yes, if you are changing level 1 user, replacing authorizing officer, amending authorizing officer, then you need both of them. You also need, if you are changing your circumstances, for example, appoint a representative, you need a submission sheet. If you're updating organization detail, move to new premises, then you need the submission sheet and you also need the lease agreement. If we go up, we can see that lease or rental agreement. Okay, you need that. Now this is the page 3. This page 3, priority service request email, sponsor license number, sponsor license name, sponsor license address, name of AO, detail of case. So over here in year CoS allocation, so we'll take over here. Date of request listed on the SMS. So when you do the request on sponsorship management system, that's what you need. Now let me show you how on the sponsorship management system you will see this. So if you go on the sponsorship management system, on the left side you have request renewal of annual allocation, request CoS allocation increase. So this is one which you probably need. You click on this and you come to this option, request additional CoS. You add a request, you do this and you submit. This is the date requested which we just discussed. So on this form, date of request, that's where you will put the date request. Okay. Then at the bottom, you have for replacing AO. In that case, have you printed the submission sheet? You do that, click yes, and then you need to email the submission sheet. In the last, you have for level 1 user request. If you're doing level 1 user request, please confirm the full name of the level 1 user to be added. You put that details, please confirm if the level 1 user from legal representative organization, yes or no. If yes, then you click and approve by the representative on the sponsor license, yes or no. So this is how you submit this form. If you don't submit, you won't get that allocation done on priority.